Welcome one and all, and thank you for joining us for a brand new week of Student of the Gun Radio. We are coming to you from the Silencer Shop Studios, home of the glass case of emotion.
SilencerShop.com, the easiest way to buy silencers online, period.
And much has happened since Thursday. Last Thursday was the last time I talked to you folks on the public program. And Friday morning, we did the Morning Mindset direct live stream on F-Book and on Periscope, because you can't just do one anymore, obviously. We did that, and it was very well received. We had a few thousand viewers of that. And, of course, we did that, and then people let me I'm going to go ahead and knock off some administrative stuff real quick, Jared.
Okay.
All right. Administrative note to all who are listening and who desire to participate with Student of the Gun via social media, whether it's F-Book or Twitter or Instagram or whatever. There is one person and one person only living on planet Earth who is allowed to give me fashion advice. And if your name is not Mrs. Markle, then that ain't you. So that would be fashion advice rule number 1. If you feel the inspiration to comment about something that I'm wearing and offer me your fashion advice, take a deep breath and hold it for a second, because you may be stealing valuable oxygen. So the rule is, if your name isn't Mrs. Markle, if you're not Miss Nancy, you don't get an opinion. So there you go. Rule number 2. If you're going to post things on social media, it's nice to have some semblance of a clue as to what the hell you're talking about. Jared, you know what we need?
What?
We need when you have a forum, you generally, when you open or you start a forum,
You have moderators.
Right? Because you can't moderate. I can't look at everything. I can't check everything. I can't correct all the errors. And so what you do is you get a close-knit group of moderators, of dedicated moderators that you appointed, and those are the people that you trust to answer the questions and mediate stupidity and mitigate stupidity.
We have a close group of people that we could do that with, but I just don't know how to allow them
to moderate
that permission on Facebook.
Well, I don't. It's the thing is you don't want 87 people having administrative stuff, because that'd be just a big jumble. But
no, but if we had 10,
even 10 is a lot. Even 2 or 3 people is a lot. But I guess informally, if you're a part of a group, if you're following us on Twitter, the big ones are Twitter, Instagram, Gun District, and F-Book, right? Those are the big ones.
Yeah.
Gun District.
Twitter, Instagram.
Stop yawning, freak.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have to go in there and correct stupid things. Like, I'll give you a great for instance. And are we going to talk about, let me scroll down in my show notes and talk about, I'm going to get into this when I talk about the bulk of the urban safari, so I'll save it for then. But it's in the show notes. Remember we talked about how often I won't mention something because I think, all right, well, I've been talking about this for 5 years or 7 years or 10 years, and certainly everybody gets it, and they don't need me to repeat it by now. Certainly you understand. And I know that you, in particular, listening to me, might understand, but apparently many don't. So we're going to be correcting some errors and dispelling some myths today. That's going to be our job and our mission. I did accompany, speaking of Miss Nancy, I did accompany Miss Nancy to New Orleans, Louisiana this weekend because it's Mardi Gras season, and as those of you, Southerners really know, you know and understand that Mardi Gras leads right. It's the Fat Tuesday is the last day of Mardi Gras because what is Wednesday? It's the first day of Lent, so it goes all the way back. Don't ask me to give you the history of Mardi Gras, but the fact of the matter is the Mardi Gras calendar is based upon the Easter calendar. And Easter is early this year, so Mardi Gras was early this year. So it just happened to be this last weekend. And I I drove and escorted and bodyguarded Miss Nancy while she, watched parades and so forth this weekend. And it was a good time. As a matter of fact, we accidentally, I ran into a new friend, Frank from Northern Virginia. We were watching one of the many parades. I don't know. Nancy, your mom knows the names of the parades. She goes, "Oh, this is the Endymion, or this is the Iris, or this is the..." Oh, I guess it must have been the Iris. There you go. "This is the blank parade." And I'm like, "Huh. Yeah. It's got like bands and floats and stuff, and that's what it is."
Yeah.
But no, if you're like really steeped in the Mardi Gras lore, you know that every parade has to have its own theme. It has its own crew. And they have them scattered throughout the entire week. Daytime parades, nighttime parades, all kinds of insanity. Well, there we are on Canal Street watching the daytime parade on Saturday. And just having a good time, waiting for the floats to go by to throw beads off and trinkets and all kinds of stuff. And I saw this dude out of the corner of my eye, and I noticed that he was kind of looking at me. And the cop in me is always like, "Why are you eyeballing me?" kind of thing, But he walked over and he says, "Hey, are you Paul Markel?" And I said, "Yes, I am. Do I owe you money?" And
yeah, that's funny.
He said, "You've been served," and handed me a piece of paper. No, but seriously, his name was Frank. He was from Northern Virginia, and him and his wife were down in New Orleans for Mardi Gras. And he introduced himself and said he would listen to the show. And so, Frank, if you're listening, your wife's shoes were beautiful, and it was nice to meet you. She had decorated Mardi Gras-themed shoes on.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That she did herself, you never know. You just never know. You could be out doing what you're doing and look to your left or right, and there I'm standing. So pay attention to your surroundings, hippies. I guess that is the lesson for today, is you need to pay attention to your surroundings, because I could be standing right there.
See, what that was a test for Frank, and he passed. It's like Professor Paul, just poof, here he is.
Mm.
And
good
here
situational
this morning,
awareness.
when we were talking before we started recording, I was like, "People come from Northern Virginia to go to New Orleans Mardi Gras?" And Dad's like, "Dude, people come from like all over the world. They fly." I'm like, I've been down here since 2008, so I don't think of it as a big deal. But
Yeah,
apparently
you
it
don't
is.
think of it as like an international deal. You
No.
just think that just Louisiana,
Yeah.
Mississippi people do it.
Well, because before I was down here, I was only 17, 18 and younger, so I didn't think about Mardi Gras.
Yeah. No, people book hotels years, quite literally years in advance. The balconies that oversee Bourbon Street, they're booked years in advance.
How do I buy one of those places?
You don't. That's Bourbon Street and Wall Street, and there's three places in America. I believe I don't know if it's Wall Street. There's like a one section of New York. There's the Las Vegas Strip, obviously,
Yeah.
and Bourbon Street. Those places have the highest real estate values in the nation because, well, Vegas, of course, is a license to print money, and Bourbon Street is essentially a license to print money because people in Japan know what Bourbon Street is. People in like Czechoslovakia, they don't know anything about anything, but they know New Orleans, Mardi Gras, Bourbon Street, right? And they come there and they drop their rubles and yen and pesetas or whatever it is there. So, and
I thought Czechoslovakia had pesos.
I don't know what they have. They have checks.
Okay. They write checks?
I have no idea. I don't know. If you are from Czechoslovakia, write and tell us what your unit.
Somebody out there is like,
what your currency unit is.
Somebody out there is freaking out right now.
I'm pretty sure
really?
that they're
Pesos?
not part of the European Union.
Yeah.
They don't use the socialist euro. But, let's go ahead and thank some people, and then we're going to get into. It's Monday, and being Monday, we're obviously going to discuss our Warrior of the Week topic, and we have a brand new one for you. But let's thank our friends at Brownells at brownells.com. And, of course, at Brownells, while you're shopping at Brownells, you can pick yourself up some Frog Lube. It just works. And you never know. You might lend your gun to someone, and they shoot it, and they're like, wow, I don't know what this is, but it's minty fresh. I enjoy it. Duracoat, because life is too short to carry an ugly gun. Right? To have an ugly gun, to carry an ugly gun?
Yes,
it's too short. Duracoat's can technology. Thank you for some of you grad program people that shared your gun firearm refinishing knowledge. And essentially most of the guys that did it, that share the knowledge, that do it for a living, that actually have gun shops and custom shops, they'll tell people like, look, knucklehead. I know you're all excited. I know the colors are pretty, and I know you want to put them on your gun. Stop yourself. You need to prep the gun first. All that surface material needs to be prepped. You need to take all the little parts off. You need to disassemble it. And yes, I do disassemble the guns as far as I can get them. When I didn't just spray paint the TB one.
That's funny.
I didn't just hang it up and paint the whole thing. I disassembled it.
It's like, what? Did you disassemble that trigger, or did you just paint it with it on there? Like, yeah, I just left the gun together.
You know, certain things you could do, like let's say an AR-15. Some people will pull the triggers out. Some people will stuff the trigger mechanisms full of paper and they'll tape over them. Whatever floats your boat. Yeah. I've done both.
Yeah.
There have been times when I've decided that I wanted the trigger to be whatever color, or that I was going to put a different trigger in it, or I was just starting with a raw lower receiver. And that's the
best part.
Yeah,
the best time to do it.
The best time is before you assemble the gun, before you put all the pieces and parts on there, coat it, do the coating and finishing then. Yeah. But anyways, thank you for everybody who shared your advice with us on social media about the gun prep. And yes, when you refinish a gun, the prep work is the most important thing you can do. Spend more time on the prep than you do on the actual finishing, and you'll be happy with your final product. And while we're talking about Duracoat, you want to remind them about the gun tats.
Yeah, download the Student Gun mobile app or go to LauerWeaponry.com. If you have the mobile app, you can just click on the Gun Tat tab. Gun Tat tab. And you pick the SOTG logo, and it'll take you to the cart, and you just check out. It's only $5. So just go get a Student of the Gun logo, put it on your gun. And then send us pictures.
We can't wait. We're looking forward to it. Yeah. I know some of you hippies got them. So
Lauren put up pictures when she got the gun tattoo in, but it's not painted on the gun yet. So,
and I know a couple other people have too. So.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll with it, brother.
Hi, Professor Paul. This is Sergio from Florida. For the purpose of home defense, what are your thoughts on pistol caliber carbines such as the SIG MPX, Chris Vector, and CZ Scorpion? Thank you.
Wow, that was very succinct. Go ahead and give him his instructions so he remembers.
Sergio, I need you to email your information, which includes your name, your mailing address, your phone number, and your email. Email all of that to Alex, ALEX, at studentofthegun.com. She will get you taken care of. She will send your information over to SWAT Fuel, and you will get your free bottle of 9mm plus P.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and dive right into that question. Now, we have discussed this previously when we did the AR-15, the King of Home Defense. And when you're talking about...
Dude, where is that? I don't even know where that is right now. Do you?
It's in one of our...
Is it in an episode or is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's in an episode.
Oh, okay. I just wondered.
I think it's season 4.
It's funny because we've produced so much stuff. People are like, "Whoa, why don't you talk about this?" I'm like, "We have," and they're like, "Well, where is it?" I'm like,
I don't know.
Go search on the YouTube, the website. I don't know.
On the YouTube. But anywho, no. A lot of folks miss the boat when it comes to using firearms in a defensive fashion. They focus on what's outside of the gun versus on what's inside of the gun. They focus on, handles and actions and barrels and sights and lasers. They focus on all this other stuff, and then they skip right over the really important thing, which is what actually hits the bad guy. Well, what actually hits the bad guy is the projectile. Your Magpul, the Magpul furniture kit that you installed on your gun, that's not what takes the bad guy down. And I don't care what color the gun is, whether it's blue or black or multicolored or whatever, that's not what takes the bad guy down. What takes the bad guy down is the cartridge, ergo the projectile. That's what is the business part of it. And we get all wrapped around the axle over cosmetics and just we talk about everything but that. Or we get all wrapped around the axle over different pistol caliber thises and pistol caliber that's, and we fight with each other over what's the best pistol caliber, when the fact is the best caliber isn't a pistol caliber at all. It's a rifle caliber, and that's just the way the world is. Is there play? And what we've said previously is the AR-15 is the king of home defense, hands down. You cannot argue with that. You can argue with it, but you'd be wrong, and so don't waste your time arguing with that. And you're like, well, but Paul, no, you don't understand, because I read this article by this guy who was in the Coast Guard, and now he's a self-proclaimed firearms expert, and he said never use a long gun for home defense, always use a handgun, derp, 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 derp. What is the purpose of a firearm in a defensive Mortal Kombat situation? What's the purpose of the firearm? Is it to be just an accessory to give you a warm and fuzzy? Is it a talisman that brings you good luck? Are you hoping to just wave it at the bad man and the bad man will go away? Or do you understand that the purpose of it is as a destructive tool? It's a power tool, and you're supposed to be using that to stop bad people from doing bad things to you and your family. The most effective tool to stop bad people from doing bad things to you and your family is a rifle. And here in the year 2016, as it was for 15, 14, 12, whatever, the 5.56 NATO or 223, whichever one floats your boat, I know they're not exactly identical. Don't write me letters. But whichever one of those floats your boat, that is the best all-around man-stopping tool that you can have at your disposal. And right up there with it is, right next door to it is a 7.62 by 39 or a 5.45. But in America, there are more black rifles than anything else. There are more black rifle accessories, magazines, ammunition, you name it. Every major manufacturer, I don't care if they have a W, an F, an R, a C, a whatever in front of their name, they make some brand of 223, 5.56 ammo. You can get it everywhere. It's readily available, and it does a good job. Now, with all that being said, and we've dispelled the whole over-penetration myth, don't write me letters about that. That science has been settled. It's over with. And please, God, don't tell me about RIP ammo. If you're going to write me letters about RIP ammo, why don't you can write letters to somebody else. Write letters to former Coast Guard people who are now gun experts about RIP ammo, and they'll be happy to hear from you. When it comes to a firearm for defense, a long gun, whether it is now, when we're talking about a Kriss Vector, we're talking about something with a stock, something that you can lean your shoulder into, regardless of whether it's a Kel-Tec, it's a Kriss, it's the SIG, it's the whatever. If you have 4 points of contact on the gun as opposed to 2 points of contact, it's easier to maneuver, it has a longer sight radius, and it's, well, quite frankly, easier to hit your target with. What's easier for someone to hit their target with? A .22 rifle, like a Marlin or a Ruger or whatever, or a .22 handgun? Now, unless you've been schooled in the art of the handgun and never touched a rifle before, the answer is rifle, because it's more forgiving, has a longer sight radius, and has a greater stability. So, we've actually done segments about using pistol caliber carbines as alternatives to handguns because they're easier to hold on to control, to maneuver, and to actually do that one really, really important thing that we often forget about when we're talking about cosmetics and brand names and all that. It's hit the target where you want the target to be hit. That's the important thing. And if you don't feel comfortable for whatever reason using an AR-15 or an AK or some type of a rifle, you're like, I just don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I can't convince myself. Okay, fine, drive on. But the fact of the matter is, if you're using a self-loading carbine or pistol caliber carbine like the ones that we mentioned, those are far better as far as practicality. And now a 9mm cartridge coming out of a carbine and a 9mm cartridge coming out of a pistol, is there a difference? Yeah, pretty slight. It's in the whole scheme of things, the difference between 100 or so feet per second is not that big of a deal. But yeah, is there room for a carbine, pistol caliber carbine? The answer is yes. And the reason is because when you're holding onto it, you can put 4 points of contact on the gun as opposed to 2, and that's always a better thing. And it's also a larger object too. But I think that is a good enough answer for Sergio. Sergio, don't forget to do your homework or to follow the rules and write to Alex, ALEX, at studentofthegun.com. And you're going to get a free bottle of SWAT Fuel 9mm plus P. And Jared, we every week we do this, and we mention it, but we don't ever, or we haven't in a long time, taken a moment to really, I guess, appreciate that. And I wonder if everybody out there in the listening audience appreciates SWAT Fuel is an official sponsor of Student of the Gun. You know, they are on board officially. The giving away of essentially $40 worth of product every week for free to you guys is something that they just do because they want to do it, because they feel it's right, because they have faith in their product, and they want to get it into your hands. But they don't have to do that. Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Okay. We talk about SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week. We talk about you get the free bottle, blah blah blah. But I don't think we've ever said, that's not something that they have to do. They're not forced to do it. That they're not obligated to. They give $40 worth of product out to one of our audience members for free every single week. I think that's correct, is it not? It's like $39.99 or something, whatever.
$39.95 or
All right.
something like that. Yeah.
But if you weren't the winner and you want to be a winner in life, go ahead and go to SWATfuelstore.com and use the promo code PREPARED, at least until the end of February, and you can save 15% off. All right, moving on. Let's talk about carrying guns. Did I carry a gun on my urban safari this weekend? Yes, I did. I carried it in a Crossbreed Super Tuck Deluxe, also known as the Bruce Jenner Commemorative. And I did not carry the TP9 SA. And we put a picture of my partial urban safari kit, and someone called me on, and they're like, "What? No SA? Hey, freaks! What just happened to the SA here in the last week or so, week and a half? What just happened to it?
It got painted.
It got Duracoated, right? And what have we told you? When you're going to put a new finish on a gun, what are you supposed to do before you hard use it?
Clean it? Oh, wait.
Cure. Let it cure.
Let it cure, yeah.
Yeah. So the whole reason I'm not carrying the TP9 SA on me right now in my Crossbreed holster is because I'm allowing it to cure, allowing the finish to cure and to set up so that it will be a decades-long finish, because I'm not a rockhead today.
I don't know what kind of finish comes on the TP9 SA, but whatever it is, it rubs off pretty easily.
The colored one?
Yeah, the color, like the one that I had. What color is that?
The desert.
Desert. It's not flat dark earth.
No, I think they actually call it desert.
Desert.
They don't call it.
Anyway, the brown
They don't
one.
call it FDE. They call it desert.
Okay, the brown one that I have, from taking it in and out of my holster, because I actually practice with my gun. I actually dry fire my gun.
What? You're a crazy person.
Pretty much every day. So from taking it out of the holster, putting it back in the holster, my finish was actually coming off. So
well, it's got the rub marks on it. Now, conversely, mine, which was all black, did not have that.
yeah.
And I think that the color is a different. The tan color is a different product than the black color that they put on in the factory.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there you go. So yes, I did not carry the TP9 SA because I'm still allowing the finish to cure on it, and that is the reason. So I went back to my old reliable G-Lock, and so there's that. And don't forget about our friends at Velocity Triggers, velocitytriggers.com. You got a black rifle, they got a trigger for you. All right, let's start out with the urban safari talk. Yes, like I said, we started out early Saturday morning, and because my wife is a woman, we did not leave at the scheduled time, the time that we planned on leaving. It was almost an hour or so later because, well, there you go. You guys know what I'm talking about. And women, don't shake your head at me. Don't even do it. If you are the woman who's always on time, that's great. Congratulations. You are a woman amongst women, and you need to give classes. That's what I want you to do. If you are listening to me and you are the wife, you are the woman that is always ready to go, if you need to leave at 10 and at 9:55 you're ready to go, I want you to put together a PowerPoint presentation to give to all the other female personnel that are in the audience and that we all love. Can we do that?
We could literally make this work. That could be your new full-time job.
We could make $1 billion if we could get a woman to teach other women how to leave at a scheduled time.
Let's do it.
But I digress. So we did load up, and before we did that, I made sure that I had all the stuff that I needed to have on me. And it's not like I carried anything extra special, although I did take a second flashlight just because. You know which one I took? I took the Surefire green one. In case I needed to use it for signaling or to shine it in vermin's eyes. Because vermin don't like it when you shine a bright green LED in their eyes. It makes them feel weird. It makes them feel funny inside. Oh. And so we put the picture up, and I had an alternative. You know what? I kind of cheat when it comes to the less than lethal alternatives because I have the light and I have the pepper spray. Because the pepper spray is a missile-type weapon. You don't actually have to touch people with it. Or a projectile weapon, I guess you could say. If you're playing Dungeons & Dragons, it might be a magic missile. But I had the pepper spray, I had the G-Lock, and I had more than one gun on me. Don't fret. Don't be afraid. And that's why I put partial kit up there. And I made sure that I had comfortable boots and comfortable socks and comfortable clothing, and then I was dressed in layers, and then I had a jacket that was both a windbreak and had some insulation to it because it is February, and even though it's the South, it was still chilly. I had an extra hat and all that good stuff. Now, you say, well, dude, you act like you're going into battle or whatever. Well, not really. When you get to a situation, how many of you think about being on your own or having to take care of yourself? And when you think that, you think either out in the country, out away from civilization. Jared, I mean, I'm sure you've been there or thought about that. Or we talk about, well, we're going to be out far away from help. Or the nearest, even if we call 911, it'll be 30 minutes before somebody shows up because we're far away from. But people think, well, when I'm in the city, based upon the fact that I'm in the city, then help is right around the corner and it'll get to me immediately. And I just got a 911 send, and here they come down the street. Bam. Actually, all right, first of all, if you live in a major metropolitan area, and you know that's not the case, but when you're dealing with a situation, let's say you find yourself in a situation like a Mardi Gras situation where there are literally tens of, if not 100,000 plus people in the city that aren't normally there, right? Every hotel in the city and the surrounding area is sold out. Yeah, it's great for vermin. But if you were to get into whether you're to be attacked, whether you're to have a medical emergency, whatever, you assume because you're in a major metropolitan area that they'll get there immediately. When we were out on the street walking around and we were in these large crowds, There's large crowds on the street. Because of the parade situation, many of the streets are blocked off and barricaded. They're barricaded with the police barricades, which is a technical barricade, but the practical barricade is actually the 497 people that are in the street. Folks, if something would have happened to us or to anyone near us or what have you in the crowd, help is not immediately available. Even if you jump on your cell phone, you know, we were on Canal Street and there was probably, I'm not even going to estimate, but it was thousands upon thousands of people on Canal Street in New Orleans. So let's say somebody goes down with an injury and you kneel down next to them and you call 911 and they say, "Where are you?" And you say, "I'm on Canal Street in New Orleans." Okay, where on Canal Street? I'm not from here. I don't know. I'm near I see a Starbucks sign. Okay, there's 4 Starbucks on Canal Street. Which one are you near? And then you finally get down. You finally explain to them where you're at, and they send people towards you. And what they see is a mass, a gaggle, a plethora of human bodies. And they have to navigate through those human bodies. And first of all, okay, let's say they navigate through on foot. Are they going to carry you out of there to the hospital on foot? Probably not. How do they get the actual ambulance to you? How do they get the big shiny box with all the cool stuff to keep you alive? How do they get that to you? Well, they got to go through the barricades. They got to figure out which streets aren't closed. And if the parade is going on, people are like, "Well, I want to cross the street." Good luck with that. It's not going to happen. So even though you're in the middle of a large metropolitan area, help isn't necessarily going to be right there. If you're being assaulted, if there is some type of a criminal activity going on, you really believe that you're just going to be able to whip out your phone? Oh, I know. I forgot. Crap. There's an app for that. You can, what's that called? Like,
I don't know.
For Sure Safe, or I can't believe you were stupid enough to pay for this app.com, where you turn it on and dial it and point the phone at your attacker, and the phone talks to your attacker and convinces them not to attack you. Wow. The point is this, is when you step out like that, a lot of people, you know, they have that mindset. I bet some of you do too. You're like, well, you know, if I was going out in the country or we're going far away, yeah, we take a little extra precautions because we know that, you know, help, it's going to take a while for help to get there. I get that. But, well, when we're in the city, you know, I'm not really that concerned because, well, you know, we're in the city and heck, there's police cars all around us and there's ambulances, you know, just, you know, 3 miles away, there's a hospital. When you have 50,000 people walking around on the streets and half the streets are closed down and barricaded and the hospital's 3 miles away, that's a long way. That is a long way to try and get to you. That's a long way to try and get police officers to you to help you, to stop bad people from hurting you or what have you. Now, I want to talk about the whole, and I feel, Jared, you know, I feel like I'm being redundant because of the Armed Living DVD and the Complete Armed Citizen series that we just released, and what we've been doing for so long.
Well, I just think that there's a lot of new people that have never had this information before, and wherever they were getting their information before, whether they were paying for it or getting it for free, then wherever they were getting that information was incorrect. Because, well, you know, everybody is an expert. Everybody at the gun shop is like, yeah, this is the truth.
By the fact that they were hired to sell me guns.
Yeah.
There's a guy behind the counter, and he has the authority to sell me a gun. He is obviously a de facto personal defense expert. Right. Oh, you know what we need to do? We're going to do some show notes while we're talking on the radio. We have the F-book. For whatever strange reason, our F-book numbers have skyrocketed astronomically. Oh, for us. I mean, we're not like Coca-Cola or whatever.
Our growing like the growth rate.
The rate of growth, the rate of growth has been exponential. And so I believe, Jared, what's happening now is people are they're searching the word gun, and they're finding us.
Well, we've got a lot of shares lately, so it might be somebody's friends.
They're friends of friends, or like their friend, one of you guys shared a post, and your friend shared it, and then someone accidentally found it, and then they, quote, like us, and now they're stalking our page. But they really don't get it. They haven't listened.
Well, they're looking for knowledge.
They haven't read the books.
Searching information.
They haven't listened. They haven't watched the shows. They're not really even sure why they're there. But they arrived with all these weird, strange, like gun show advice type preconceived notions.
What I'm going to do is
we need a fact.
I'm going to put a pinned post up at the top that says, if you're new, start here. And it's going to have all of our stuff, like articles, radio show notes, or radio shows that people need to listen to.
Or how about who is Paul Markle?
Okay.
That might be a good one.
Right, but they need information too.
Well, I know, but they need to know who's delivering it. They need to know the SME credentials of the person who's delivering them the information.
Right.
I didn't just get out of the Coast Guard Reserve yesterday. And, hey, if you're in the Coast Guard Reserve, that's really nice for you, and I'm happy.
And that's
I was in the Salvation Army.
That everybody that's on our emailing list right now is going to be getting in the near future is kind of a where to start with June of the Gun, or just to make sure you guys have gotten all the information that every one of you should have. Is I'm going to send out an email with links to all of our best content, the most popular content, and obviously the Who is Paul Markle DVD.
And if you're in the Coast Guard, don't get your panties all wadded up. I know that Coast Guard people actually do real things.
Back to pepper spray.
Back to pepper spray. Anyway, someone commented about this weird mythology that you shouldn't carry both a less than lethal and a lethal force tool on you, because if you end up using your gun to stop a bad guy, that, quote, it doesn't matter how justified you were if they find out that you had something else with you. That is complete and utter horse crap. It's ridiculously stupid horse crap, but it's the horse crap that keeps getting bandied about at gun shows and at the end counter of gun stores and online and so forth. And it's important that you know that you have the information, that you get the information, not based upon rumor or conjecture or what have you, but, actual fact. And, something like that is really easy to shoot down. It's like, well, then why do police carry it? Oh, because police are different, because police can, no. A police officer has no more right to shoot you dead than you have to shoot me dead or someone else dead. You don't get special, shoot to kill rules when you're a police officer. You guys understand that, right? Just because someone has a polyester uniform and a badge, they don't get, the special plus P. It's like, well, the normal citizen would have to use restraint and caution, but since you have a shiny thing and a polyester uniform, you can just smoke that sucker and you're good to go. No, not so much, really. It doesn't work like that. So, folks, what I want you to do is, A, listen louder. Jared, you have a homework assignment for these freaks?
Yeah, go to studentofthegun.com and click the orange button that says 7 training tips that could save your life and sign up for it.
And you're going to get it for free. It costs you nothing. And that
7
will take,
videos for
it'll
free.
Take you where you need to go. All right. Now, on tomorrow's show, and hey, all of you guys that got in on do you want to congratulate them? That got in on the Complete Armed Citizen series early.
Yeah, that's one thing.
Congratulations, because you got the discount that nobody else is going to get from this point forward.
Yeah, that's one. We offered the Complete Armed Citizen video series for $10, and that's a huge sale. And we offered it to everybody that was on that had signed up through the 7 training tips that could save your life, and obviously our grad program members. And what do people get when they sign up for the grad program? I've had a couple questions.
Okay, well, you get the bonus hour of radio, check, which is every Friday, right?
Yes.
You get the Tactical Tutor newsletter monthly.
Once a month.
Once a month. You are signed up immediately for exclusive discounts. What have the people in the grad program been able to get a hold of before everybody else?
Oh, they got the sweet Buddha patch.
The sweet Buddha patch. The Wrong Like Dick Cancer stickers.
I don't think anybody else ever got those. It was just grad program.
No, because there was a limited run of 100, and there's way more than 100 people in the grad program. So,
First
people to open their emails and get them. The green books, the personal end of the world books, the hardcover books, signed copies.
Yep.
We had like 25 signed copies, and that was it. And they went to the grad program first. So, and guns and ammo and holsters.
The sale series.
We do velocity triggers, all that stuff. So, yeah, it pays to be a grad program member. All right, on tomorrow's show, we're going to talk about F-book alternatives and the persecution of American citizens. So be sure that you're tuning in, and welcome to your Monday. Remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.